Hi everyone! I think that looks okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do a very quick makeup look. So it is the evening, so I'm not gonna put on sunscreen because I'm actually, after this, I'm just gonna wash the makeup off and I'm gonna go work out. But I'm gonna start off with the Peach and Lily Skin Shield Blurring Primer. I am still testing this out. It actually was a lot more hydrating than I thought it would be. I thought when it said blurring, I immediately jumped to thinking, oh, I bet it's going to be like silicone-y and it's gonna be a little bit more mattifying, but it actually is surprisingly moisturizer feeling. So the fact that it claims that it can blur at the same time definitely intrigues me. I've only used it once so far, so not able to make a verdict on it yet, but I will say it does feel really nice on my skin. It doesn't dry me out. I don't really think this is hydrating enough for me to use during the winter, but it does feel like a really great summer primer. I don't know if this has any perks over my Pat McGrath one, but it was a gift with purchase, so I just figured I'd go ahead and try it. My skin is a mess. I have so many little bumps. It's just, the humidity just kills my skin, I'm telling you guys. Pulled a bunch of gunk out of this one, so it's a little bit red. Probably shouldn't have done that, but it was very satisfying. So this is the other foundation that I got online. It's about 10 bucks I got it for, and it's the SURRATT Dewdrop Foundation. Now I have it in the shade 2. It's probably gonna be too dark for me, but beggars can't be choosers. It's not too bad. It's a little bit cool. It's like, it's too pink. Michelle Wong keeps on talking about how much she loves this, but other people online were saying they actually didn't like it, so I ended up never buying it. I am definitely frequently on the look for lightly used, not too terribly old foundations online, because if they've only been pumped a couple times and they're not that old, or they were bought rather recently, then I'll bite. I do like trying foundations, but I feel bad buying one at full price if I'm not going to really use a significant portion of it, since foundations can and do eventually go bad. Alright, so as you can see, it's really super light coverage. I didn't put on very much, so I'm going to put on another second thin layer. The way that it drops out, you have to push on the bottom. Don't know how much I like that, because I feel like if my nails were any longer, I would not be able to reach the pusher, but we'll see. It is a little bit cool, but it's not too dark like the Charlotte Tilbury one was, so... And I can definitely mix this with my other foundations to darken them up a little bit. But for the SURRATT foundation, I would have preferred to get shade 1. Yeah, as you can see, the redness isn't quite completely concealed, but honestly, my skin looks very perfective. This reminds me of the Suku one, if I'll be honest. It gives a very similar finish to that, but it's a lot waterier since the Suku one is a cream. Now, I completely forgot to put on under eye primer, so I'm just going to hope that it doesn't break up my foundation. I didn't really put much under my eyes at all, so just say a little prayer for me. I'm just using my JACLYN primer. And I am going to put some on my eyelid too. Okay, yeah, it didn't really break up my foundation too much, which is good, so I'll just kind of tap it in. I'm just going to use the pony one. I'm just going to use a double-ended brush, so I'm just using this concealer quad here. I really want to like this, but so far it just feels like it's not really quite up to par, but I really wish I could like it. I wonder if maybe it's just a matter of using the right brush, because with this, it's just a brush from an ABH palette. By using both the fluffy and the firm ends of this brush, I'm actually getting a pretty good look using this concealer today. Yeah, with this brush, it doesn't look half bad. It's not like, it's still, I don't think it's full enough coverage for me compared to the JX one, but it's really not bad. Either way, it definitely doesn't live up to my current favorite JX Professional one, which is a disappointment. I am now going to move on to contour, and I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. I do not like how there's always excess product left on the little like spongy thing. I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of gross that that gets left there, but I also feel like, what am I gonna do when I run out? I might have put on a little too much, but that's okay. It is fairly forgiving, so, you know, it's not too bad. And I can always just take the sponge and kind of go over it, and that makes it less obvious as well. So on this side I put on a lot less, so I don't need to do any of the sponge dabbing. So now I'm going to go in with eyeshadow, and like I said, I'm going to kind of do like, this is like light makeup kind of a thing in theory anyways. And so if I were in that situation, then I would be obviously using like a lot of lighter colored shadows. So I'm gonna go into this palette here. I don't use this often at all. It's more of a collector's item for me. It's the MAC Pony eyeshadow palette. I really regret not picking up more from this collection. If there was one time I should have just gone ahead and spent all my money and then, you know, forgave myself for it later, it would have definitely been this collection right here. So many regrets. I didn't pick up any of the highlighters, really regret those. I didn't pick up any of the lip products, really regret that. But definitely the one that got away from me is going to be both those highlighters. I cannot even begin to state just how much I regret not getting both highlighters. That's a totally different story. So I'm just going to, but you know, I am glad I have what I have. So I'm just going to use this palette today, and I'm not going to do anything terribly intense. So right now I'm just taking one of the lighter brown shades and I'm just going to stamp that everywhere. This reminds me a lot of Wedge, but it is a lot lighter. And this palette definitely feels very on brand for Pony. I definitely learn from that. Nowadays, if I see some sort of MAC collab with somebody that I really like, I do just kind of go ahead and snap it up. The MAC Lisa one actually didn't sell out instantly like I thought it would, but it did eventually go away. I am glad I got what I got from that. And then, you know, I skipped the Lunar New Year collection because I just didn't have money for it, and I'm really sad I wasn't able to get it because that's gone too, but what can you do? So as you can see, I'm not putting on very much, and now I'm going to go into the darker, there's a dark brown and then there's like a dark mauve, so I'm going to use the dark mauve. And this palette, the mattes are like pretty sheer, so for me it makes it pretty easy to work with, but it also, for those who prefer more fuller pigmented shadows, this palette is going to come across as pretty disappointing aside from the packaging. You see a difference between these two eyes though. Yeah, so now I'm going to go into the same shadow for my lower lash line. These are really pretty lower lash line shades, by the way, for some reason. They are so nice on the lower lash line. And I do kind of pull it further out like I've been doing lately. I feel like it kind of just elongates my eyes a little bit. And then I'm just going to blend it out with the brown. Pretty. And now I am going to use some liner, so I'm just going to use a black eyeliner. Honestly, black looks fine too, and then I'm just gonna smudge it out. And I just want it to be barely visible with my eyes open. It can be really rough because I'm going to use eyeshadow to refine and elongate the shape. And now I'm going to take a small brush and I'm going to take the darkest brown. I'm going to use that to blend out the eyeliner. So kind of like that. And that just makes for like a softer eyeliner look, and it'll look better once my wings are on, once my mascara is on. And then I'm going to use shadow to emphasize the inner corner instead of eyeliner. So I'm not using eyeliner for that this time. So that's what that kind of looks like now. Okay, so lastly, I do want to put on some shimmer just kind of across my eyelids. So I'm going to go into this shade right here, and that's just going to go... No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go into this shade here, and I'm just going to tap that directly over the middle of my eyelid. From the looks of the swatches from Pony and everything, and from me using this last, the shimmers are really not that great. They're honestly pretty hard to see, but that's kind of her whole aesthetic, is that it's just kind of glittery. It's on brand for her, but even like by glittery standards, these still felt kind of weak. So overall, the quality of this palette to me was actually pretty meh, but it was, of course, it sold out really quickly just because it had Pony's name on it. For like a daily look, it looks fine. So like just adding a little bit, you can kind of just see a little sheen as I turn my head. And then I'm going to use Flower Nose Revelations on my inner corner because this is also going to end up on my cheeks as well. So for daily makeup looks, I usually match my highlighter in my inner corner. And I'm not going to use very much just because my eye look is so toned down. And then I'm just going to put a little bit on my lower lash line. Well, before I put on mascara, I'm actually going to do my blush so I can set my face so that I don't like catch stuff on my lash curler. So I'm going to do blush. I didn't use setting powder yet because I didn't know if I was going to use cream or not, and I kind of want to use like a cream or liquid today just because I like so very rarely use them. I'm going to use this color here. This is Sonoya. This is one of the whipped cream blushes from SHISEIDO. I should use it more often than I do. Even if I'm just doing daily makeup, I always really like to still have lots and lots of blush. And I'm just dabbing and stippling because I'm trying not to disturb my foundation. I've noticed that this formulation does not like to work on top of powder because I've had instances where I forgot to use this and I set my face and then I try and go back over it with over a set base with this and it seems to kind of not work. So if I do use this, I have to remember to not set my face. But as you can see, it does have a really pretty finish. It does have some gold shine. It's like a pink with gold shine, so it's kind of like that, which is a color I do really like. So you can wear this alone without highlighter if you really wanted to. You can really see the gold gleam coming through, but I'm gonna put a little bit more on. So blushes on, I always, you know, I do put on a lot. So I'm going to spray down with some setting spray, even though this is all coming off. And I'm going to use a Givenchy Prisme Libre loose powder, and just because, the only reason I'm using it is because I haven't used it in a while. This is the one with like the multicolor. I don't really notice a huge difference, like I don't notice any correction coming off of this, but it's cute and I like it. I have the New Year's packaging and it is a genuinely good powder. I do find it sets my base really well. It's one of those powders I can't really declutter because it's very nostalgic to me. It's one of the first powders I ever picked up. Okay, so that's gonna be my face set. Nice and mattified. You can really see there, but the blush glow does still come through a little bit, which is pretty cool. So now I'm gonna go back into Revelation and that's just going to top off my cheekbones. It doesn't stick as well to a mattified base, this formulation, because in China, you know, it's a lot about like moisturized skin, dewy glow, so they don't really set their face as much as I just did. But considering that it's summer, if I was to wear this out right now, I would need it to be set because it's so humid. The weather is truly like never before. I love it, like right up here on my nose bridge. And then I just dab a little bit here. And I haven't done my brows yet, I am well aware, I just forgot. And so I'm trying to keep my eyebrows a little bit on the thinner side. Obviously you can see my left eyebrow is a little bit better than my right one. Okay, so the eyebrows are on and they're looking honestly pretty good, so I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes and put on mascara. And I have the HOLIKA Define Volume. This is Minsko's holy grail that she's been using a lot and she talks about it a lot. So I'm gonna use this today because even if I do have daily makeup, this is still something where I want my lashes to show, like I want black lashes. Pray for good lashes. I'm gonna do one eye at a time. Open this up, and this is waterproof, so if you get it, do bear in mind you're gonna have to remove it. And it takes a lot of elbow grease to remove. I do really like this curved brush. It is nice and narrow, which is perfect for if you have small eyes like me. This does seem to have fibers in it, so you can really add some length to your lashes. And at first glance, I really am feeling like my lashes are poppin'. First impression is very positive, so I'm gonna let that dry and I'm gonna curl the other eye. Okay, so this is gonna be the HOLIKA mascara. It does let you add an actual pretty impressive amount of length to your lashes because it has fibers. I feel like it does volumize really well, and with my eyes open like this, you can actually for once see that I do actually have modest eyelashes. So I'm just gonna, I do want to kind of continue to let this dry, so I'm just gonna fan it a little bit more before I put on lower lash mascara. Okay, so for mascara, I think I'm gonna try this brown one because it really is just, the curiosity is getting to me. This is the MUDE Volume Curling Mascara. This brand is not really super talked about in the, like, you know, American side of things, so I am gonna try out this volume curling mascara in brown. It is started by an influencer in Korea, so it is an influencer brand, and one of their most well-known products is their eyelash serum. Now I use Rapid Lash right now and I think it's working for me, so I am not using that one, but a lot of people in Korea do really like that one. She also has made lip balms, a cushion, and she just came out with eyeshadow palettes that people seem to really like. Now, using this at first glance, I feel like I can't even tell if there's product going onto my lashes. I'm like kind of mildly disappointed right now. I'm gonna keep building it. I know sometimes it just requires some building because the wand is so thin that there's not much being deposited on at once. But I have seen people use this on their upper lashes and it looked really good, so I'll just keep adding more until I'm satisfied. And I do really like using brown mascara on the lower lashes for looks like this. I feel like it just kind of tones it down a little bit. I got mascara on my cheek. Take it off later once it dries. I don't even know how that happened. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of clump up my lashes a little bit by turning the wand vertically. Okay, so far my first impression on this is going to be meh. Meh. So I am, can't necessarily say I think this does any volumizing. I'm a little disappointed. Okay, so that's gonna be the eyes complete. I am blown away by this waterproof mascara from HOLIKA so far. I definitely feel like my lashes look just like Minsko's do. If I had applied even more, I definitely would have gotten lashes that look like hers. I just didn't want to apply too much today because I don't want to have the worst time in the world removing it. The MUDE mascara, on the other hand, I am gonna have to continue to use. I will test it on the upper lashes as well, and maybe I just need to let it age a little bit. It is very, very wet, and so it feels like not much product comes onto the wand, and so it really feels like very little is being deposited onto the lashes, but we'll see. So far, not my greatest first impression, but as with anything, first impressions are not usually going to be super helpful. But that's just kind of my thoughts on that. HOLIKA, when I bought the volume one, it's the bundle that comes with a free brown one, so I'm gonna try that one too and see if that one's any better. I don't know, we'll see. I am so amazed at this mascara and I would highly recommend it. I feel like the Kiss Me Heroine Make Mascara, the OG one, is kind of getting a little bit harder to find these days, and the newer formulations have never done it for me, so if I can use this one from now on until this inevitably gets discontinued, then I'll be plenty happy. This is so far blowing my socks off. Alright, so I put on blush, I put on contour, and I did put on highlighter, so really all that's left to work on is the lips, and then we can be done. So I'm gonna overline no matter what. I always have to overline my lips. I'm gonna use the NABLA Arrow #1. Now this is technically a stick shadow, but it can be used on the lips. However, if you're gonna use this on the lips, I highly recommend you not use it on your eyes too, because you don't want to give yourself an eye infection. The only thing about using this as a lip liner is that because it is meant to kind of be more of like a shadow stick, it's gonna set down, and once it sets down, it's really not gonna go anywhere until you remove it. So it's good for longevity, not good for if you mess up and need to correct it. So work carefully. And I don't want to overline too much today. I think my upper lip is a little bit too big, but whatever. Okay, and then for lips, I just do something very simple. I do prefer for no makeup looks, especially because usually what's going on is I'm going to be going out and I'm going to be eating. I usually just throw on some kind of tinted balm or sheer lipstick that can be easily reapplied, and if it wears off in the middle of my food, my lips don't look completely strange. So I'm going to take the YSL one in the shade, I think it's the shade 131. I don't know. They should put the shade names on the bottom, but it's one of these. It's kind of a red shade, so I'm going to put this on. I do really like YSL's lip products, not gonna lie. I wish I had more shades of this. Really, really beautiful formula. Now it is a little bit on the orange side, and the rest of my eye look is a little bit on the cool side, but honestly everything is so soft it doesn't really matter. Alright, so this is gonna be the finished look. I have like so many short hairs that are like breaking and I don't know why. I'm not really so sure what to do about that. It's a good thing my hair is black, it's not too terribly obvious. This is why I don't bleach my hair, because if I bleached it, it'd get even worse. But this is going to be the finished look, so probably still a little bit more makeup than like most people would consider no makeup, but this is what I consider my no makeup because like I still to some degree want my makeup to show a little bit. But you can see I have like a soft wing, no false lashes. The eyeshadow comparatively is really pretty toned down, and then of course no matter what I can never not have just a nice good lip, especially considering that my lips are not really the right shape for my face, so I very rarely walk around with like just like clear lip gloss or something because I'm always having to correct my lips to some degree, and then I hide that with a color. But this is kind of what I would wear for like super light makeup if I was traveling when I'm out. That'll be it from me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.